Okay. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. John Dewey. Good morning. My name is Purvaja and my partner is Yashashvi, and we are here today to talk about education system in India. The Indian education system has seen few changes since its beginning. It has changed with changing time and with the change in society. However, whether these changes and developments are for good is still a question. Today, Yashashvi and I will take over and discuss on some of the interesting characteristics of education system in India. The first thing that strikes in our minds when we think about education is gaining knowledge. Education is a tool which provides people with knowledge, skill, technique, information, and enables them to know their rights and duties toward their family, society, as well as nation. It expands vision and outlook to see the world. It develops capabilities to fight against injustice, violence, corruption, and many other bad elements in the society. Education gives us knowledge of the world around us. It develops in us a perspective of looking at life. It is most important element in the evolution of the nation. Without education, one will not explore new ideas. It means one will not be able to develop the world because without ideas there is no creativity, and without creativity there is no development of the nation. How it started. In ancient era, there were no schools. The first school that existed was the night fires in the jungle, where the early men used to pass the stories and build up to their imagination. Education system in ancient India. The education system in India during ancient times can be traced back to the 3rd century BC. At this time, the Gurukul education system in India existed. These Gurukuls were primarily residential schools where the Shishyas lived in the same house with the Gurus. These Gurus imparted education orally. The bark of trees and palm leaves were used for writing. Teaching methods used were reasoning and questioning. Education system in medieval India. Medieval India saw the flourishing of higher education at Nalanda, Takshila, Ujjain, Vikramshila universities. Painting, logic, astronomy, grammar, art, architecture, Buddhism, Arthashastra, law, medicine were the subjects taught during this period. The objective of the education during this period is acquisition of any skill and knowledge. Now, Yashashvi will continue.
Education during the British era. So, in the British era, there were Western style of universities as the British followed a Western style of culture in their living. One such first college existed is the Kottayam College, which is present in Kerala. They have motivated the Indians and they have also taught English. Not only English, but also taught Greek, Latin. Many arts and science courses were also offered. So until 1855, education was free, but from 1855, they started to cost 1 rupee per month, and 12 rupees were 129 students were enrolled at that time. Next slide. So, the education policy of 1968. This can be the first initiative taken towards the development of educational system. Under the Prime Ministership of Srimati Indira Gandhi, 1968, it was introduced. The key points were the new article which was introduced is the Article 45. It provided the early childhood care and education for all the children until 6 years. Elementary education was made a fundamental right. Next slide. Education policy of 1986. This is under the Prime Ministership of Sir Rajiv Gandhi. It was mostly focused on taking education over the masses, like providing equal education to backward classes and areas like hill areas and forest areas. They focused more on strengthening already present institutions in the backward areas. They focused more upon women empowerment, and they introduced age-led education that any person at any age can go to a college and learn something. Next slide. The education policy of 1992 was under P.V. Narasimha Rao. This area became a major change and shaped our current educational system because the basic right that was brought by Indira Gandhi is strengthened more by giving more and more importance. So the Sarva Siksha Abhiyan was also introduced, the midday meals which were helpful in the rural areas and that were helping the children to send into schools. The examinations like the IIT and AIEEE were also introduced to introduce some education to the children and the odd methods of teaching. Next slide.
The Union Cabinet has passed India's first new national education policy on 29th July 2020. It replaced a 34-year-old national policy on education 1986 and introduces wide-ranging reforms aimed at making the Indian education system more contemporary and skill-oriented. NEP has renamed the Human Resource Development Ministry as the Education Ministry. Some of the highlights are early childhood care education. That is, schooling starts at 3 years. NEP expands 6 to 14 years of mandatory schooling to 3 to 18 years of schooling. The new system says have 12 years of schooling with 3 years of preschooling or Anganwadi. For emphasis on early childhood care education, 10 plus 2 structure of the school curriculum replaced by 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 structure for ages 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years respectively. The new system will cover 4 stages. The first is foundational stage. From age 3 to 8 years, it will be like the kindergarten to make children learn life skills and make them more interactive, which could make them more productive later in their lives. It is all play and activity based learning. The next is preparatory stage. The total details about the curriculum is not yet revealed. As far as the government has said, it will be also the activity based and interactive learning. The next is middle stage. Experimental learning and occasional training like gardening, plumbing, carpentry will also be added into the curriculum. The next is secondary stage. Here, for example, about how an engineer who is interested in an art subject cannot study it in the existing education system. It has been changed in the today's education system. They focused on multidisciplinary flexibility of subjects, erasing the walls between the different streams. Mother tongue as the medium of instruction. Mother tongue as a medium, according to the NEP 2020, the mother tongue or local regional language is to be the medium of instruction for students till class 5. Multi-stream flexibility. Here, the learners will have flexibility in choosing subjects across the streams they'd want to pursue. For example, any person from any stream, which may be science or commerce or humanity, can choose a subject to study from any other stream. Bagless days and informal internships. A day every week is going to be a bagless day. On that day, children will have practical learning like plumbing or gardening, etc. Assuming that by 2030, 50% of the students will be exposed to the vocational education like plumbing and pottery. Coding for children. Coding is introduced from class 6 to promote logical thinking and to promote analysis and observation from that age in the children. Now, Yashashvi will continue.
Opening up higher education to foreign players. Indian government has finally opened the gates to 100 of the most prestigious universities of the world, like Oxford and Harvard, to set up their campuses in our country. Next one. Next slide. Reducing the use of rote learning. To reduce the use of rote learning, government is planning to conduct exams in two parts, which are the objective and descriptive. Could be same like in an engineering college. More details are yet to be released, but this step could be a good initiative in reducing rote learning. Next slide. Progress card includes self-assessment. In schools, our teachers and parents would give us marks and assess our abilities. But after we step out of the college and schools, we would assess ourselves. To develop this self-assessment from the childhood, NEP is including the self-assessment column in the progress card, which means we ourselves have to give marks to ourselves based on our talent in different fields. Next slide. Increase of allocation to education. As I had mentioned earlier, government only spends 3% of the GDP on education, which is lower than many developing nations. But with this reform, government is going to spend 6% of the GDP, which may experts asking the government for years. Fortunately, government has finally listened. Next. Multiple entry and exit points. Credit transfer means if a person joining the engineering college after 1 year and discovers his actual talent in some other stream, he could not drop out of the degree, and if he again want to study that degree, his 1 year has been already wasted. So, but now the rules has changed. If a person drops out after first year, he might get a certificate. If he drops out after second year, he would get a diploma. After third year, he would get a bachelor's degree, and after fourth year, he would get a bachelor's research. So any person can continue where he left it. So this type of system is pretty much common in other countries. Next slide. New standard for teachers. A special training will be given to the teachers, which includes to teach using online platforms and to be able to content creation. So by 2030, every teacher should be required to have a 4-year integrated BEd as a basic education, or if a person has a bachelor's in any subject, that he can have 2 years of BEd. Next slide.
Everything comes with its own pros and cons. Some of the advantages are exams. Positive impact are students go through many exams during their learning period. It strengthens students to analyze their weakness and knowledge. Provides knowledge on various subjects. Indian education system encompasses a vast curriculum and imparts knowledge on various subjects including math, science, social, Hindi, English, computers to name a few. All of these subjects form part of the syllabus from primary classes. Therefore, students acquire knowledge about various subjects from an early stage. Enhances discipline. Schools or colleges in India are very particular about the timings, timetables, ethical codes, marking systems, and study schedules. Students are required to follow the rules set by the schools, otherwise, they are punished. This is a good way to increase discipline in students. E-learning. The risk of the internet has changed the way of life in India. People like to do everything online. They shop online, do business online, make friends online. Most importantly, learn online. With the ever-increasing information available on the internet and the countless number of online courses, many students in India prefer to learn online. And now Ashish will continue.
Disadvantages. So if there are advantages, anything would have a disadvantage, right? Next slide. The first disadvantage is the reservation system. Only reserved are deserved, not reaching the needy. People don't realize how this has not been reaching the masses. We live in a country comprising people of every religion, every caste, and discrimination only on the basis of caste, creed, and color, etc. is offense. And even the people who have interest in a particular field, that person can't take up because the seats are not more. Next slide. Lack of creativity. This major factor is influencing the students than any other factor. Restricting the freedom at an early age in schools by expecting the children to write exactly as written in the textbook reflects later in the industry, which leaves less scope for innovation. So, due to the lack of creativity, India ranks 66 out of 140 countries in terms of local dynamics of innovation. Next slide. Focusing more on grades. When we focus more on getting grades, a student life is not valued. Only that grade is what matters in the current society. It may lead to the depressed creativity, fear, and judgmental minds of people, and failure in the weakened students' interest. And many students are even committing suicide because of these factors. Is grade really more important than your life? Next slide. So some other problems are no vocational training. Vocational training means the gardening, farming, electricity, and pottery like things. So right from our childhood, we have studied division of labor, but we are not really doing it. Now, no, we are not respecting them and giving children a wrong idea or perspectives on these workers. Just imagine a world without these workers. Can you survive? No practical learning. So when we insist children on rote learning, not allowing them to write what they understood, instead of producing the exact copy, how can they improve their practical learning? So seeing a person fitting a bulb and studying the instructions for fitting a bulb and fixing yourself are all different. So we were left only with the instructions but not giving a chance to practice. Next slide.
Conclusion. Many policies have been introduced by the government to overcome the problems of the Indian education system, and it's a great beginning. The education has come up a long way and still has to do a lot more to compete with students of other countries in terms of knowledge and skill. I would like to conclude by saying that education is the very foundation of a personality, and by improving it, we are improving the image of the country as well. And the only way to improve education is education itself. Yashashvi.
Education is what remains after one has forgotten everything he learned in school. It was taught by Albert Einstein. He was also one of the examples that education is not everything, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.